Rob Smith here. I'm delighted to be joined by Geoff Pavey as he looks to make his Cage Warriors debut on the Newcastle card. Jeff, how we doing, mate?
I'm good, Rob. How are you?
I'm very good, mate. I'm very good. So, massive fight against Fraser Paterson. It's felt like a long time in the making. So talking about this matchup and talking to me about Fraser as an opponent.
Well, I got offered him at amateur on Unity a while ago, but I said, no, I'm getting too old now. I'm going pro to Steve Mack, who runs Unity. And that's basically all I've ever said about him. And then obviously I got offered him again on the Unity card as pro. And I was like, yeah, but I don't know if I'm available that day because I'm an army reservist and I don't know if I'm away with them, which I actually do know. And I am away, so I couldn't have made that date. So I was correct in saying that I don't know. And then Fraser calls me out on Instagram saying that I've been talking about him when I actually hadn't. So that annoyed me, to be fair. But Steve was doing his best to try and make the fight happen. He thought, if Fraser calls me out, I'll take the fight. But at the end of the day, I can't be mad because now it's happening on Cage Warriors. Do you know what I mean?
So, yeah, it was a bit of a strange one because when I spoke to Fraser recently, he claimed that he didn't know who you were up until 3 weeks ago. And so I was under the impression that he'd been offered the fight a while ago at amateur. So I was a bit surprised that he said when he didn't know who you were.
Yeah, it's chatting shit, man. He knows all about me. Trust me.
And so I want to talk to you about your pro career because you'll admit yourself that you didn't have the most successful amateur career. It was a little bit hit and miss at times, but towards the end of your amateur career, you really started to hit your stride. I really noticed that it
Yeah,
was the Michael White fight on Unity where you really I think you surprised a lot of people. I remember you came in you took it on short notice and you dominated
yeah.
Michael, and that was a big win for you. And I think since then you've never looked back. You've looked the best you've ever looked, and since you've gone pro. I think your style fits the pro game a lot more because you can really use your elbows and you can really use your strength. I think so. I think since
Yeah.
pro, you surprised a lot of people.
It's a lot more to do with moving up a weight class as well. If you look at all my losses, most of them were at welterweight, and all my wins have been at like middleweight. So I was cutting too much weight, especially as an amateur. I shouldn't be cutting 6, 7 kg in the bath after an amateur fight. Like since I've stopped doing that and I'm fighting at my natural weight, the wins are coming.
And I was when you told me when I saw that you'd fought a middle welterweight, I was thinking like, how on earth you made welterweight? I'll never know because if anyone goes on your social media, you are looking unbelievable and shit. You're looking very big, you're looking strong, and you're looking ready
Yeah,
to go. And so I don't know how you made welterweight.
yeah, nearly killed me. That's why I was losing.
And so, how what's it like being at middleweight for you? And so, how much do you cut a great deal of weight when you go into these fights?
Nah, I wake up on weight. I don't even dehydrate. And I think that's why I was doing better than Dave Allen in that last fight because I'm pretty sure that he had to dehydrate to make that weight, and I just woke up on weight. So when he was hitting me with them big shots, my brain wasn't rattling. There was no space. I could tackle him. I've got a good chin at middleweight, and when I hit him with that elbow there, he went to sleep.
And I want to talk about that fight against Dave Allen because that was one where, once again, a lot of people in the build to the fight who I'd seen on like as you know speak to people in the scene, a lot of people are writing you off saying, "Oh, Dave's too much. Dave's going to smash him." And I think coming into the fight, everyone expected Dave to win, but once again, you never look phased. You were never once doubted yourself. And I remember I was when we interviewed you, and you were so full of confidence, and I was thinking like, you know what, Jeff's got something here. I think I wasn't too sure who was
Yeah,
going to win the fight, to be completely honest, but then when the fight actually came, you completely schooled Dave. It looked like it was like an amateur versus a pro.
yeah. Well, that's what I mean. Fraser's going on about his amateur record. Dave Allen was what 6, 7-0, never lost a fight. I've made him look like he never had a fight. I'm going to do the same to Fraser Paterson.
And so talking about his matchup with Fraser, because once again, he's a very young lad. I think he had, once again, a very successful amateur career. I think he was 10-1-1, making his pro
Yeah.
debut. Do you think he's kind of cash checks that you can't cash fighting
Yeah,
someone who's had two pro fights?
he's bit off more than he can chew. He's got a few submission wins, but I've looked at his fights. Every single person that he's submitted can't actually grapple. He's gone on about that Jake Smythe fight, like saying that Jake Smythe knocked me out. He dropped me to a knee, and Trevor Mitchell stopped that fight early. I've told Trevor and I told Steve that that fight shouldn't have been stopped. When he stops it, I look at him, I go, "What are you doing?" Like I was going to blast a double leg, and then but I couldn't because Trevor got in the way. Do you know what I mean? And I took that fight on 10 days' notice against Jake Smythe. I was sat in the pub when I got off with that fight, and I pieced him up for 2.5 rounds.
And so you're making your Cage Warriors debut. It's the biggest in my opinion. It's the biggest promotion probably outside the UFC, really, especially in the UK scene. Like I think it's PFL and stuff, but for the UK, Cage Warriors is the one. And so,
Absolutely.
what was your immediate reaction when you got the call from? I'm assuming it was Ian Dean saying, "Oh, we've got a fight on Cage Warriors for you."
Yeah. Well, I was in talks with Ian Dean to get on Cage Warriors for a couple of weeks before that, about 6 weeks. Like, he was trying to get me on the show, but he was going on about logistics, saying there was opponents and shows and contracted fighters that needed to fight. And then with all this that Fraser was chatting on Instagram there, and all the notoriety got me messaging me going, "Oh, we'll do this fight," and I was just like, "Yes, send me the contract, send me that contract."
And so once again, Cage Roy is a huge card, and I think it's a bonus being Newcastle because you're a local guy, you're from the northeast, and so do you think the fans will really get behind you for this one?
Yes, even people that I haven't sold tickets to that I know are going to be there because they bought tickets off other people from the area. So I'm going to have a big crowd there. I don't know how many people he's bringing from Scotland, but a northeast guy fighting in the northeast. This is like memories that I'll take to the grave. Do you know what I mean? Just to get into walk out in the virtual arena in Newcastle, it's what dreams are made of. You know.
And I remember we spoke at BFC after your pro debut, and you were saying how you're coming for the UFC. That is what your goal is. You want to take all these middleweights out, and so far so good. You've done that. You've beat everyone to put in front of you. And I remember on social media there was a bit of like some people saying that oh, he's delusional and things, but so far you backed everything up. And so how good does that feel to kind of shut people up when you fight?
Only delusional because it starts working, Rob. Do you know what I mean? And everyone asks how I did it. You've got to be delusional. You've got to think you're the best. If you're going into a fight thinking you're going to lose, you've already lost. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Personally, I think I'm the greatest middleweight to ever walk the earth, and I'm going to prove it September 13th when I put Fraser Paterson to sleep.
And so when I spoke to Fraser, he was full of confidence. I think he believes that he's a level above, and he thinks that his amateur career is what's going to, his pedigree at amateur is what's going to win him this fight. Obviously, I know you think differently. So how do you kind of view the matchup with Fraser? What do you think he does well, and what do you think he doesn't do so well?
Nobody cares about an amateur career. Do you know what I mean? He's talking about his amateur record because he doesn't have a pro one. Well, obviously he's got a good ground game. He submitted what nine people, but even then, everyone he's grappled can't even grapple. I'm jiu-jitsu, Jeff. Do you know what I mean? Try and grapple me, see what happens. See what happens. I will get you in something ridiculous like mother's milk. I'll do it to you, pal. Jesus Christ, like he's getting it. He's got nothing compared to me. He's saying that his skills are better than mine. He's a child. I've been training more than times than he's been alive.
And I saw when that fight got announced, I saw a comment on social media saying that, oh, if Jeff wins, it doesn't really do much for his career because he's beating someone who's coming off his pro debut. But I look at it completely differently because Fraser, he's ranked number one in amateur in the UK. So if you manage to beat him, that's a it doesn't matter. I know obviously amateur isn't as important, but I think beating the number one ranked amateur, that's a massive scalp to have, and I think it only catapult your career even more getting a win against Fraser.
Yeah, this fight is like it's a lose lose for me. This if I beat him, it's pro debut. He's never fought pro before, and sorry, if I beat him and he's never fought pro, everyone's like, oh well, he's never fought pro. Do you know what I mean? But like if I lose, everyone go, oh, he lost the fight for a pro debut. So it's a lose lose situation for me. But either way, when I put him to sleep, it's a win win.
And so I wonder what do you think a win against Fraser does for your career? Because you mentioned that it's a lose-lose. I'm not sure if I see it that way personally, but I can see why you think that. But where do you think a win against Fraser? Because I think middleweight at the Cage Roy it isn't the most stacked division. There is a path for the title there. I think maybe one, two,
Yeah,
maybe three or four big wins. I think you could be in the title shot picture. Do you think that's the case?
yeah. Well, I don't look for easy fights, but I consider Fraser Paterson to be the easiest fight in the middleweight division. I'm telling you now. He's got nothing. He's got nothing. He's got what 10-1 as an amateur. Who gives a fuck about amateur? He's 0-0. That's what he is. And he's going to. It's going to be a shame to retire a man who had such good. It was such a good prospect. I'm going to retire him on his pro debut. It was such a shame. But to make your own dreams come true, you've got to crush others. You know what I mean?
And Fraser, I think he when I was speaking about his game, he obviously didn't want to give away his game plan, but I think he's hinting that
It's all
usually
going
how
to
his other
be.
fights go, it's just going to try and take you down and just smother you with his wrestling, use his elbows. And so when you kind of know what Fraser's game plan sort of is coming into the fight, does that make it easier to train?
No, I'm training for everything. I'll beat him standing up. I'll beat him on the ground. He's going to try. If he tries to grapple me and hold me, submitted. If he tries to stand up and bang, knocked out. And that's how it's going to go.
I know you're not the one to, I know you're not looking past Fraser, but is there anyone in the Cage Warriors division that you're looking at that maybe is a really exciting fight for you?
I just want the belt. I'll run through the entire division, all of them. Anyone can. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Anyone can have it. I don't care if John Jones was across the. I'd fight John Jones. I don't care. Like, I'll dodge no one. It's a good job being retired.
And so, I don't want to keep you too long. I know you've got things on, but so when I spoke to Fraser and asked him about predictions and things, he said that he doesn't think you'll make it out the first round. He thinks after that first round you'll be gasping for air and you'll be too tired. You won't want to continue. So, what's your response to that?
I run ultra marathons for fun. I wake up in the morning and run for 6 hours for no reason. He thinks he can make me quit and tire. Behave yourself. Like, I am going to put that man to sleep. He's going to regret the day that he slid into my fucking Instagram inbox and called me out.
And that's one thing I actually want to bring up is the fact that like I say on social media, it makes me tired just looking at it. I think every single day you're putting on the you'll take a picture of like your Apple Watch and you've run like a gajillion miles. So how do you stay so
Yeah.
motivated and stay so disciplined?
ADHD, to be honest, I've got energy, energy in abundance. I'll sleep 4 hours a night. I'm just always on the go. Always on the go. I'll train three times a day and I want him to be tired. And he thinks he's going to time me out and wear me out. Please. Please.
My,
Try
my,
it,
fi-
because I'm.
my final two questions are we'll do it in this double header. So first off is what is your message to Cage Warriors fans and also your message to Fraser?
The Cage Warriors fans expect a show. I reckon Fraser Paterson is that easy of a fight. I'm going to be doing some ridiculously flashy moves and people are going to absolutely love it. And for Fraser, I said it before and I'll say it again, be careful what you wish for because I am going to seriously fucking hurt you.
And then what's your official prediction for the fight, mate?
What was he saying? I reckon I could do him in 30 seconds. No, 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 I'll do you in 10, pal. 10 seconds. One and done.
Quality, mate. I love it. I love it. So, Jeff, I just want to give you a chance to shout out any social medias. I know ticket links and things. Here's your chance to shout out all your socials and things, mate.
Yeah, if you're going to buy tickets, anyone from the Northeast, even Scottish, if you don't like Fraser, use Marling. Get your tickets off me. And shout out my sponsors, Striking Company, making my fight kit, the UK Scaffold, CDMD, Charlie Douthwaite Roofing, the SB Floor Contractors, Sean Taylor Painting and Decorating, my company, Geoff Pavey, Civil and Structural Engineering. And that's it. Missed you off, I'm sorry. But yeah, let's go.
Jeff, mate, well, thank you very much for coming on, mate. It's been a pleasure speaking to you. Wish you the best of luck.
Thank you. Cheers, mate.